All right, so you guys want to talk about passion, huh?
I think that's what we've got lined up for us today, yeah.
Passion, passion, passion. You sent us some really interesting stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's about this elusive thing called passion,
Yeah.
that driving force we hear about all the time.
Right.
That supposedly leads us to our true calling in life.
Yeah. The thing everyone says you gotta find.
Exactly. And our guide for this exploration is none other than Jeff Bezos,
Oh, wow. Mr. Amazon himself.
the founder of Amazon.
Okay.
You might be thinking, what does a business tycoon know about passion?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that.
But trust me, his perspective might surprise you.
I'm intrigued.
What we're diving into is an excerpt from one of his talks,
Okay.
where he reflects on his own journey.
I like it.
He talks about leaving his high-paying Wall Street job
Whoa, okay.
to start an online bookstore,
An online bookstore.
which, back then,
This was a while ago, right?
sounded about as crazy as cement-filled tires.
Cement-filled tires?
Oh, we'll get to those, don't worry. It would have been so easy to stay in that comfortable, secure job.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In fact, his boss at the time even cautioned him against it.
Really?
Imagine being told, this is a better idea for someone who doesn't already have a good job.
Ouch.
Talk about a vote of confidence.
Right.
I think that's such a great illustration of the point Bezos makes about choices,
Okay.
taking pride in choices rather than gifts.
Okay, explain that to me.
It would have been easy to coast on his existing success,
Yeah, his gifts, like you said.
right? His gifts, so to speak.
Yeah.
But he chose to pursue something that truly excited him.
Even though it meant stepping into the unknown.
Exactly. And that choice, that willingness to embrace risk,
Yeah.
is ultimately what led him to build something extraordinary.
It makes you wonder what would have happened if he'd stayed put.
Would Amazon even exist today?
It's impossible to know for sure,
True.
but it really highlights the impact our choices can have on our lives.
And the world around us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a reminder that sometimes the most rewarding paths are the ones that require us to step outside of our comfort zones.
And defy conventional wisdom.
For sure.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay, lay it on me.
Bezos' boss gave him this piece of advice.
All right.
You can have a job, a career, or a calling. And if you can figure out how to have a calling, you've hit the jackpot.
A job, a career, or a calling?
We've all heard those terms, right?
Yeah, of course.
But what do they really mean?
Well, a job at its core
Yeah.
is about fulfilling a specific set of tasks
Right.
in exchange for compensation. It's a means to an end.
A career, on the other hand, implies a longer-term trajectory.
Okay.
It's about developing skills, gaining experience, and potentially moving up within a particular field.
Okay, I'm with you.
But a calling,
Yeah.
that's about something deeper.
Deeper, how?
It's about finding work that aligns with your values, your passions, your sense of purpose,
Yeah,
right?
precisely. It's about feeling a deep connection to what you do,
Mm-hmm.
a sense that you're making a meaningful contribution.
And that, as Bezos' boss said, is the jackpot.
That's the chatbot.
Makes you wonder how many of us are actually living out our calling.
Versus just having a job or a career.
It's a good question, right?
Yes, it is.
And I think Bezos' story offers some valuable insights.
Into how we might approach that question.
Totally.
Yeah.
One of those insights, I think, is the importance of following our passions,
Okay.
even if they seem unconventional or risky.
So, like,
Think about it in an online bookstore back in the early 90s.
right, that must have seemed crazy to a lot of people.
It must have sounded pretty out there.
It wasn't exactly a sure bet.
Exactly. But Bezos had this intuition, this gut feeling that it was something worth pursuing.
Yeah.
And that passion, that belief in his idea,
Yeah.
is what fueled him to overcome the challenges and ultimately achieve something truly groundbreaking.
Like that saying, the only way to do great work is to love what you do.
Exactly. And Bezos seems to embody that wholeheartedly.
He does. He definitely
Yeah.
does.
And his story highlights another important point about passion.
Okay, what's that?
It's not just about finding something you enjoy.
Uh-huh.
It's also about being willing to put in the hard work,
Yeah.
to persevere through the setbacks, and to stay committed even when things get tough.
Right, because it's not always going to be easy.
And that's where the concept of flow state comes in.
Flow state.
That feeling of being completely absorbed in an activity that we enjoy, where time seems to disappear.
Yeah, you get lost in it.
And we're fully engaged in the moment.
Exactly. It's that state of effortless focus and immersion that often accompanies work that we're passionate about.
And it's that passion that can drive us to achieve great things.
Even when faced with Obstacles and setbacks.
Absolutely.
Wow, so Bezos really seems to believe in this whole passion
He
thing.
does. And we're just getting started. There's so much more to unpack, so stay tuned.
I'm ready for it. It's interesting how Bezos emphasizes that finding your calling
Yeah.
isn't necessarily about stumbling upon some grand preordained purpose.
Right.
It's more about making choices,
Choices, okay.
about shaping your own path.
I like that.
He actually says, your life, the life you author from scratch on your own, begins now.
I love that framing. It's
Yeah.
so empowering.
Yeah.
It suggests that we have the power to create the life we want, even if we don't have all the answers right now.
Right.
It's not about waiting for some magical moment of clarity.
No.
It's about taking action, experimenting, making choices that align with our values and aspirations.
Absolutely.
And then he poses this series of questions
Oh, yeah.
that I think are really helpful.
For anyone trying to figure out their path.
Exactly. He asks things like, how will you use your gifts? What choices will you make?
It's like an internal audit,
It is.
prompting us to consider what we bring to the table and how we want to utilize those strengths.
I'm curious what stands out to you about those questions.
Well, I think the emphasis on gifts versus choices is particularly insightful. Remember, Bezos believes that we can only truly be proud of our choices.
Not our inherent gifts.
Exactly. So it's not enough to simply possess talent
Okay.
or intelligence or any other advantage we might have been given.
Yeah.
It's about how we actively choose to use those gifts,
Right.
how we develop them, and how we direct them towards something meaningful.
It's like the difference between potential and action.
Exactly. We can have all the potential in the world,
Yeah.
but if we don't make choices that allow that potential to flourish, it's essentially wasted.
Right. And that leads into his next question.
Which is?
Will inertia be your guide, or will you follow your passions?
Oh, that's a good one.
He's highlighting the danger of complacency, of simply going through the motions without actively steering our own ship.
Right, yeah.
It's a reminder that we can't just sit back and expect things to happen.
Yeah, we got to put in the work.
We have to be proactive, we have to make conscious decisions, and we have to be willing to put in the effort to create the life we want.
And that, I think, is where passion comes in.
Exactly.
Passion is the fuel that propels us forward.
It gives us the energy.
The motivation to overcome challenges and keep moving towards our goals.
I love how he contrasts following your passion with following dogma.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about that.
He asks, will you follow dogma or will you be original?
So he's encouraging us to break free from the mold,
Exactly.
to question the status quo.
To carve our own unique path.
Because ultimately, it's in those moments of originality, of defying expectations, that we often discover our true potential.
It's a powerful challenge.
It is.
It's about trusting our own instincts, embracing our individuality, and having the courage to do things differently.
Even if it means going against the grain.
And that ties into another key theme that Bezos emphasizes.
Okay, what's that?
The importance of choosing a life of service and adventure over a life of ease and comfort.
Interesting.
It's about embracing challenge,
Yeah.
stepping outside of our comfort zones, and striving to make a positive impact on the world.
He even frames it as a question.
He does.
Asking, when you're 80, which one of those things do you think you're going to be more proud of?
It's a powerful prompt for self-reflection.
Yeah, it really makes you think.
It forces us to consider what we truly value,
Yeah.
what kind of legacy we want to leave behind, and whether our current choices are aligned with those aspirations.
And it's not just about grand gestures or achieving some monumental feat.
Right.
It's about those everyday choices. There's small acts of courage and kindness
Exactly.
that cumulatively shape our lives and the lives of those around us.
And that's where those rapid-fire questions he throws out come into play.
Oh, yeah. Like,
He asks things like, will you wilt under criticism or will you follow your convictions?
will you bluff it out when you're wrong, or will you apologize?
He's forcing us to confront those moments where our character is truly tested,
Right, where the rubber meets the road.
where we have to choose between taking the easy way out or doing what we know is right, even if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, he's pushing us to really examine ourselves.
And he keeps going,
Oh, there's more.
layering on more thought-provoking questions.
All right, hit me.
Will you guard your heart against rejection, or will you act when you fall in love?
Will you play it safe, or will you be a little bit swashbuckling?
He's challenging us to live fully,
Yeah.
to embrace
To
vulnerability,
take risk,
to pursue the things that matter to us.
even if they feel scary or uncertain.
It's a powerful reminder that life is too short to play it safe,
Or to hold back.
to let fear dictate our choices.
Right. It's about leaning into those moments of uncertainty.
Embracing the unknown and having the courage to go after what we truly want.
Love it.
And he concludes this barrage of questions, a final set that really drives home the importance of our character and the impact our choices have on the world around us.
I'm listening.
He asks, when it's tough, will you give up or will you be relentless? Will you be a cynic or will you be a builder? Will you be clever at the expense of others or will you be kind?
Wow, those are some heavy hitters.
They really challenge us to think about the kind of person we want to be.
Not just in terms of our own success.
Right, but also in terms of how we treat others and how we contribute to the world around us.
It's about choosing to be a force for good, to build something meaningful, and to leave the world a little better than we found it.
And I think the image of a builder is particularly powerful.
Oh, yeah. How so?
It suggests that we all have the potential to create, to innovate, to make a positive impact. It's about channeling our passion, our creativity, and our resilience towards something larger than ourselves.
I like that. And you know, all this talk about passion, purpose, and building something meaningful leads us back to the question of work.
Because, let's face it,
Yeah.
for most of us, a significant portion of our lives is spent working.
That's true.
So how do we find work that not only sustains us financially, but also aligns with our passions and gives us a sense of fulfillment?
That's a question that a lot of people are grappling with today.
It is.
Especially as we see a shift in how people view work and what they want from it.
And I think Bezos' message is particularly relevant in this context.
Okay.
He talks about the importance of finding work that you love,
Yeah.
saying, you're very lucky if you have a career. A lot of people end up with a job. If you don't love your work, you're never going to be great at it.
That's so true.
It really highlights the difference between settling for a job that simply pays the bills and finding a career that truly lights you up, that allows you to tap into your passions and make a meaningful contribution.
And I think that's something that a lot of people are yearning for.
That's
They
right.
want their work to be more than just a means to an end. They want it to be a source of fulfillment, of purpose, and of connection to something larger than themselves.
And that's where Bezos' final point about the incredible time we live in becomes so relevant.
Okay, I'm all ears.
He talks about how all the curious minds from history would have wanted to be alive right now.
Really?
In this age of unprecedented technological advancement, global interconnectedness, and access to the information.
He's got a point.
He says, Jules Verne, Mark Twain, Galileo Newton, all the curious from the ages would have wanted to be alive most of all right now.
Wow.
It's almost as if he's saying, wake up and realize how incredible this moment is. The world is your oyster. What will you do with it?
It's such an inspiring message.
It is.
It's a reminder that we live in a time of unprecedented opportunity.
Where almost anything feels possible.
Exactly. And I think that's a really empowering message.
Especially for anyone feeling stuck or unfulfilled.
Yeah.
It's a call to action, to embrace the possibilities, to step into our power, and to create something amazing.
It's about tapping into that same spirit of curiosity and innovation that drove those great minds throughout history and channeling it towards our own unique passions and aspirations.
And with that, I think we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive into Jeff Bezos' insights on passion, purpose, and the choices that shape our lives.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. But before we wrap up, I want to circle back to one key question that he posed earlier.
Okay, which one?
One that I think ties everything together beautifully.
I'm listening.
Remember when he asked, will you take pride in your gifts or pride in your choices?
Ah, yes. That's such a crucial point.
It goes back to the idea that while our gifts are valuable, it's what we choose to do with them that truly matters.
Our effort, our dedication, our actions that ultimately define us.
And it's fascinating how Bezos doubles down on this point.
Oh, yeah.
He says, everybody in this room has many gifts. I have many gifts. You can never be proud of your gift because they're gifts they were given to you. It's like he's challenging us to rethink pride.
Okay, how so?
He's suggesting that true pride comes from the choices we make about how we utilize those gifts.
It's like saying you can be born with a beautiful voice.
Right.
But if you never sing or share that voice with the world, it's almost as if the gift doesn't fully exist.
It's the act of choosing to use that gift to create something.
To express yourself.
To connect with others that brings it to life.
I like that.
And I think that's such a powerful message for anyone listening. It's not about what you were born with.
No.
It's about what you do with what you have. It's about taking ownership of your abilities and making conscious choices about how you want to shape your life.
And he goes on to say,
Yeah.
you might be tall, or you might be really good at math, or you might be extremely beautiful or handsome. There are many gifts.
Right.
And you can only be proud, really, of your choices because those are the things that you're acting on.
He's really drawing a clear line between simply possessing a gift and actively choosing to express it, to act upon it, to make it a part of who you are.
It's a great distinction.
It's a reminder that we're not defined by our circumstances or our inherent abilities, but by the choices we make every single day.
Exactly.
Those choices, those actions are what ultimately shape our lives and create our unique story.
And it all comes back to that idea of being the authors of our own lives.
Exactly.
It's about taking responsibility for the narrative we're creating.
Not just letting things happen to us, but actively shaping the story we want to tell.
Which means that no matter what challenges we face,
No matter what obstacles,
we always have the power to choose
how we respond, how we move forward, what kind of impact we want to make.
It's about recognizing that we have agency, that we have the power to make choices that align with our values, our passions, and our aspirations.
And it's those choices that will ultimately lead us to a life of fulfillment and purpose.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So to wrap up this deep dive, Bezos leaves us with one final question to ponder.
Okay, let's hear it.
How will you use these gifts? And will you take pride in your gifts or pride in your choices?
That's a good one.
It invites us to look inward, to examine our own values and motivations, and to make choices that will bring us a sense of true pride and accomplishment.
A call to action, to step into our power, and to create a life that we can look back on with a sense of satisfaction, knowing that we made choices that mattered.
That we used our gift to make a positive impact, and that we lived a life that was true to ourselves.
Beautifully said.
And on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into Jeff Bezos' insights on passion, purpose, and the choices that shape our lives. It's been an incredible journey exploring these ideas, and we hope it sparks some new perspectives and insights for you too.
We encourage you to keep reflecting on these concepts, to keep exploring your own passions, and to keep making choices that move you closer to the life you want to create.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep chasing those dreams.